June 30th, 1960. Leopoldville is a pressure cooker of heat and history. King Baudouin of Belgium sits on a velvet throne, expecting gratitude for granting independence to the Congo, but a tall, thin man with sharp glasses and a goatee is about to tear up the script. Patrice Lumumba strides to the podium. He wasn't even supposed to speak. He looks the king in the eye and tells the world that the Congo's freedom wasn't a gift. It was won through tears, fire, and blood. The room goes silent. The insult is scorched into the air. In that moment, Lumumba becomes a hero to millions, but a marked man to the West. He doesn't know it yet, but he just signed his own death warrant in front of the international press. The Cold War is about to swallow the Congo whole. Independence is only days old when the dream starts to rot. The army mutinies. Belgian officers are chased out. Chaos spills into the streets of Leopoldville, and the wealthy province of Katanga declares it's leaving the country, backed by Belgian mining money. Lumumba is the prime minister of a country that is falling apart before he can even sit in his office. He needs help. He turns to the United Nations, but they hesitate. So he does the one thing that ensures the Americans will never let him live. He picks up the phone and calls Moscow. The Soviet Union answers. Suddenly, the Congo isn't just a decolonization story. It's a nuclear-age chessboard. To Washington, Lumumba is no longer a leader. He's a threat that needs to be neutralized. Deep in the shadows of the CIA, plans are being drawn. They talk about poisons and accidents, but they find a better way. They find a man inside Lumumba's own circle, a young, ambitious colonel named Joseph Désiré Mobutu. Mobutu is lean, disciplined, and very observant. He watches Lumumba's every move. While Lumumba dreams of a united Africa, Mobutu is having quiet meetings with foreign agents. The trap is being set, and the bait is power. September 1960, Mobutu strikes. In a bloodless coup, he seizes control of the government. Lumumba is placed under house arrest. UN peacekeepers stand outside his gate, but they aren't there to set him free. They are there to keep him contained. Weeks pass. The air in the house is thick with the smell of old coffee and desperation. Lumumba knows his supporters in the east are waiting for him. He decides he has to run. He waits for a night of torrential rain to make his move. He slips into the back of a car, hidden under a pile of blankets. The car rolls past the guards in the dark. He's out. He's heading for Stanleyville, his stronghold. For a few hours, it feels like the revolution might actually survive. But the mud is thick, and the river is rising. At every village, crowds gather to cheer for him. It's his popularity that kills him. The noise of the celebrations gives away his position to Mobutu's scouts. At the Sankuru River, the path ends. Mobutu's soldiers arrive in jeeps, splashing through the mire. Lumumba is dragged from his car. They beat him with the butts of their rifles right there in the mud, while the villagers watch in horror. He is flown back to Leopoldville, bound with rough ropes. Mobutu is there to meet him. Not with words, but with a look of cold triumph. Lumumba is forced to eat the very speech he wrote for independence, the paper shoved into his mouth by laughing guards. The Americans and the Belgians realize that as long as Lumumba is alive, he is a ghost that will haunt them. He's too dangerous to keep in the capital. They decide to send him to his worst enemies. They send him to Katanga. On the flight to Katanga, the torture doesn't stop. Belgian officers watch as the Congolese guards kick the prime minister until he can no longer scream. When the plane lands in Elizabethville, he is barely conscious. Moise Tshombe, the leader of the breakaway state, is waiting. He hates Lumumba with a visceral passion. Lumumba is thrown into the back of a jeep and driven to a secret villa. The Belgian advisors are there, directing the movements like a dark play. Inside the villa, the final hours begin. There is no trial. There is no mercy. Just the sound of fists hitting flesh and the low voices of men deciding how to hide a murder. Tshombe and his ministers watch the interrogation personally. It is January 17, 1961. A convoy of cars leaves the villa and heads into the deep bush. They stop near a large tree. The air is thick with the sound of insects. Lumumba is led to the edge of a freshly dug pit. 3 men stand before him. 2 of his loyal ministers are executed first. Then, it's Lumumba's turn. He looks at the Belgian captain in charge. He doesn't beg, he just waits. A volley of shots rings out, echoing through the trees, but the murder is only the beginning of the horror. The next day, the men return. They realize that a grave can be found, A body can become a shrine. They need to make Patrice Lumumba disappear completely. They dig him up. They take him to a remote location. A Belgian police commissioner named Gerard Swait is given a task that will haunt him for the rest of his life. He brings hacksaws. He brings 2 large drums of sulfuric acid. For hours, in the middle of the wilderness, they dissolve the first prime minister of the Congo. Piece by piece, the man who defied a king vanishes into a cloud of toxic fumes. By the end, only 2 small items remain. Soite reaches into the sludge and pulls out 2 gold-capped teeth. He puts them in his pocket, a macabre souvenir of a crime that the world won't officially confirm for another 40 years. The cover-up is massive. The Katangan government claims Lumumba escaped and was killed by angry villagers. Nobody believes them. Protests erupt from London to New York. Lumumba becomes a martyr before the acid is even cold. Mobutu takes full control of the Congo, renaming it Zaire. He rules with an iron fist for 32 years, looting billions while his people starve. He was the West's man in Africa, the stable alternative to the man they murdered. For decades, the truth is buried in classified files in Brussels and Washington. The official story remains a lie, but secrets have a way of clawing their way back to the surface. In 1999, a Belgian book finally breaks the silence. Belgium is forced to face its past. An official inquiry is launched. The world learns about the acid, the teeth, and the direct involvement of colonial officials. In 2002, the Belgian government finally apologizes. But what about the teeth? For years, they sat in a box in Gerard Suete's home. After he died, the Belgian police seized them from his daughter. They were the only physical parts of Patrice Lumumba left on Earth. In 2022, over 60 years after his murder, Lumumba finally returns home. A single tooth is placed in a casket and flown to the Congo. Thousands line the streets, not to mourn a man, but to honor a ghost that never left. The assassination of Patrice Lumumba wasn't just the death of a politician, it was the death of a future. It left a hole in the heart of Africa that hasn't fully healed to this day. The ghost of 1961 still walks the Congo. He was a man who dared to speak the truth to power, and power responded with acid and lead. But you can't dissolve an idea. You can't bury the truth forever. History has a long memory. Think about the choices made in those dark rooms in 1960. Think about the lives lost because a man wanted his people to be truly free. The story of Lumumba is a reminder that the past is never really dead. It's not even past. Patrice Lumumba, a name that was supposed to be forgotten. Instead, it became a battle cry. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the shadows of history, hit the subscribe button. There are more secrets waiting to be told. Because the most dangerous stories are the ones they try to erase. See you in the next chapter of the past.